Welcome to another episode of Casual Cinephilia, where enthusiastic amateurs talk very passionately about movies. I'm Ian.
I'm Lorian, and today we are talking about Pokemon Detective Pikachu.
Which was genuinely adorable.
It really was.
Fun to watch. It's not going to win any awards.
No.
But I do not regret seeing this at all. It was enjoyable from beginning to end.
I schedule our podcast, and I kind of put this on the schedule as a joke in the same way that Dora the Explorer is on our schedule. But the more the trailers came out, the less it was a joke, and the more it was like, oh, well, we're obviously going to talk about that movie.
Yeah.
It was really pretty.
It was gorgeous. A little tidbit. Oh, before we go into anything, spoilers. We're going to spoil everything about this movie. We are a spoiler podcast. So, with that said, a little tidbit that I learned about this is a while back, I think he was a DeviantArt artist or something. I saw him on Imgur or Imager.
Tumblr or somewhere.
Tumblr, yeah.
Somewhere on the internet.
Where he just did like not anatomically, but like real world style drawings of Pokemon and how they would look if they evolved on our Earth.
Right, with the musculature and
exactly.
that sort of thing.
Yeah, with proper anatomy. And apparently the producers of this movie liked his work so much, they actually hired him on to help. I think he was the lead designer for the real world, quote unquote, designs of the Pokemon. And I loved it.
Yeah,
like
it was
everything
great.
felt real.
I was not the biggest Pokemon kid.
Mm-hmm.
I grew up in the 90s, but so I know like enough to have survived elementary and middle school without being murdered. And not a lot more than that. So I can recognize like most of them. They use pretty basic classic Pokemon for the most part. Mm-hmm. There were a few I was like, I have no idea what that is, but
So I was a pretty big Pokemon fan as a little kid. And what's crazy is going back, there's like 4 or 5 times as many Pokemon.
Right.
And honestly, the only reason I knew a lot of the Pokemon that were in it is because, one, they were either from the first gen or they were in Super Smash Brothers. I knew them from that.
Yeah, I did not feel out of depth. So if you're a parent and you know nothing about Pokemon, you'll still enjoy the movie. It'll be fine.
Well, and that's, I think, why I enjoyed this movie so much is I'd say the first third, if not the first half of the movie, is kind of a film noir detective story. Right. And you take out the Pokemon, and it's a pretty generic, but it's an enjoyable, well thought out plot.
Right.
Like, it's a good movie without the Pokemon. And then you put the Pokemon back in, and it just elevates it to just eye candy.
Yeah, we both discussed that the plot was nothing special. I mean, it wasn't a bad plot by any stretch.
No,
it was very sound. It held water.
Mm-hmm.
It was just not very complex. It's a children's movie's plot.
Yes.
Which it is a children's movie, so that makes sense. But the visuals of it really, really did elevate it to that next level. Yeah. It was not boring. You did not feel like, oh, why am I here watching this children's movie?
Yeah, honestly, a thing that was kind of an interesting thought was this was a good movie, which means that it was a good video game movie. Right. Because this is a Pokemon movie, but this is a direct, film adaptation of Detective Pikachu, the video game. Right. And I got to watch a good video game movie. Like, that was... I think that's one of the reasons I enjoyed it so much. Is like, oh, finally, someone's actually taking a video game intellectual property and paying it enough respect to make a good movie out of it.
Well, they approached it similar to the way Marvel has been approaching their comic book movies, where they took the source material into account and kept it true enough, but used screenwriting techniques to write a screenplay instead of just to put a video game plot on screen, which doesn't work.
Exactly.
So it was fun.
Yeah. Kind of going into the film noir feel of it, the lighting in this, which it's really interesting because the lighting in the of the movie really dictates how the movie flowed. In the first half, it had very stark contrasts. Very,
right. It was very almost neon noir in the beginning.
Very neon noir. And as you go into the more mystical effects, when Mewtwo is, not exposed, revealed,
sure,
the color palette gets more vibrant and light.
Right.
And it was just really interesting because it really had a tonal shift from detective to fantasy.
Right.
And they did it very subtly. And at the very end, it was like, oh man, I'm watching a different genre of movie. Yeah. And it fit though. Like it wasn't jarring. It fit. And it was really well done.
I really enjoyed the casting.
Oh yeah.
It definitely telegraphed the plot, but it was good.
Yeah. The instant they didn't show the father's face.
Yeah. You're like, oh, that's what happened.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Yes. And who was it? Bill Nye?
Bill Nye,
Bill Nye. I don't know his name. I mean, I know his name's spelled out, but I don't hear it.
I've heard it pronounced Naihi and Nai.
Great. That guy?
Yeah.
He's fun.
I love him.
I saw him and was like, oh, bad guy.
Exactly. Well, and that was fun because they really did try and play it off as the son being the villain.
They did.
And
they cast it like halfway believably.
Yeah, because Bill Nye could be a good guy.
I could have seen it happening. Like the son was that one actor who's like 50-50.
Yeah.
He can pull off either.
He's the actor who plays the pretentious asshole ex-boyfriend.
Right.
And so, but as soon as the father was like, the son is trying to ruin it all, I was like, he's a red herring.
Never mind.
You're the bad guy. Red herring alert. Okay. So, I mean, there wasn't much subtlety. But
no.
I don't think it needed it. It's a Pokemon movie.
Right. I really appreciated that they did not, revisit a cartoon plot. There was no Team Rocket in the background or any of that stuff.
I was genuinely concerned when it was Serum R. I was like, I hope there isn't a Team Rocket. Don't get me wrong, I love Team Rocket, in the anime, but that's a hard concept to pull off in live action.
You'd have to do so much work to put them in this world.
Yeah.
Because there was a lot more subtlety in this world.
Yeah.
Which I think they got away with by putting it in this hybrid city setting instead of the standard Pokemon world.
Which I think that's the biggest triumph of this movie is the world building was phenomenal.
Yeah. Nothing
felt out of place. And even though I know we kind of disagree on this, I feel like this is a very solid end. It'll be difficult for me to accept a sequel to this movie. Spoiler alert, Detective Pikachu is Justice Smith's father.
Which is Ryan Reynolds. Yeah. Which, that was fun to see him. You already know that if you've watched the first 15 minutes of the movie.
Exactly.
And are an adult.
Right.
Or a smart 10-year-old.
Exactly. And so they separate Pikachu and Ryan Reynolds, and it's a beautiful moment, honestly, when
I really liked them as father and son.
Yeah, they
looked right. They had the chemistry well.
They definitely had the chemistry. In the scene where the character's Tim throws away his ticket, I was like, that's a really, heartwarming scene because you can just see they're playing off each other, and it was a good scene.
Yeah.
And so with that said, the thing that I think is the biggest triumph of this movie is I want to see the next movie set in this universe, whether it's a Detective Pikachu 2 or some other story.
I would follow that little herd of Bulbasaurs around for 2 hours if that's what they wanted to do.
That's what Toho needs to do, is make a Planet Earth documentary.
Yes.
How cool would that be?
I would watch that.
I would watch the shit out of that. Have David Attenborough commentate it. That would be amazing.
That would be.
Yeah, that was a thing that made me feel old is with the Bulbasaurs and then those like mushroom things. I have no clue what the hell those things were.
Neither do I.
Like, wait, what?
And I
what
played Pokemon Go when it came out.
So you're a professional.
I'm a professional Pokemonner.
I caught all the Pokemans.
All the Pokemans.
Oh, man.
I think the concept is intriguing, but I just can't do anime, which is the main form that the storytelling for Pokemon has been in. So this was fun for me. It's a world that I am intrigued by, but was inaccessible to me. It's not that I haven't tried. It just doesn't get to me emotionally.
This is going to sound accidentally racist.
Oh,
but
good.
Like, anime is like sushi. You either love it or you don't.
I love sushi.
But that's the thing.
Do not love anime.
You know people, though, that
for sure
acknowledge that sushi is tasty, but they cannot stand it.
Yeah.
It's like anime and manga. Like for me, I love anime.
Right.
Can't stand manga. Like, I don't know what it is about it. I cannot read manga. Even though I love comic books.
Right.
Which makes no sense.
Right.
I get it, but that's just how it is. But yeah, this movie was really accessible. And I really enjoyed it. Because
it was a fun family film.
Yeah. Apparently it's not doing too terrible, even though it came out, 2 weeks after Endgame.
Yeah.
Like
I feel like that's a good enough margin, though. Especially for a kid's movie. Endgame wasn't exactly a kid's movie.
That's true.
A lot of kids saw it, but...
Yeah. I don't know, it just... I've gotten to the point where if you release a movie within a month of a Avengers film, like it doesn't... Like, you'll be fine.
You can never do again.
Oh, who knows? I mean...
According to the current rules, you can never do again.
Fair enough. But yeah, it was good, and apparently it's doing well in the box office, which I'm glad because it deserves it.
Yeah. It was super cute.
The interactions were acted very well.
Between the Pokemons and the people?
The big thing that was...
I don't even know if Pokemons is the right plural.
Send your hate mail to casualcinephilia@gmail.com. Tell us the proper pronunciation of Pokemans. No, it was... So there was that trifecta, especially in the car, of Justice Smith's character, Tim, being able to talk and understand Detective Pikachu.
Right.
And be able to talk and understand the girl, Lucy. But Lucy and Pikachu not being able to understand each other, and Lucy not understanding that he can understand. And like, they played it off subtly well, that it just, you could tell like she was confused, but was able to track what was going on, and like was confused how he was getting this information, but just didn't press it. Like, I don't know, the acting of all that was really, honestly, it was subtle, but well done.
It's good.
Yeah, I don't know. I really enjoyed this movie. I loved I don't even know what the name of the Pokemon is, but the sombrero bartender.
Yeah. At moments in the trailer, look it up.
Yeah.
It's a good one.
I love it. And the moments between Detective Pikachu and the Psyduck. It's like, are you saying we're listening to this spa room crap? Because if you go crazy for half a second, you're going to blow us all up? Uh-huh. No, I'm not going to massage your foot. Fine, give me your foot. Like, that whole interaction was hilarious because Pikachu's just strapped into a baby seat the whole time. The design of Pikachu was adorable.
Yeah.
And I know it's not changed much in the last 10 years, but
yeah,
how they made him so fluffy was just adorable.
I like the fluffiness. Has said I have no emotional attachment to Pokemon. So I heard some people were mad about the fluffiness. I thought it was a good choice.
Yeah.
More fluffy Pokemon, please.
What's funny is I heard a lot of, not backlash, but just like anger towards some of the designs of the characters, like the Mr. Mime. That was like creepy skin. But if you actually read the description of what Mr. Mime is, that's actually what they look like.
Speaking of which, What happened to Mr. Mime?